I would have been a native Los Angelino had it not been for the war. I was born in a place called Poston, Arizona, which is really no longer there. It was an American concentration camp. It all came about, incited by, provoked by the Japanese attack upon Pearl Harbor in December of 1941. So by 1942, there was a clamor on the West Coast to lock up all the Japanese Americans. We had to get out, and they were going to transport us to these camps. 110,000 Americans. My father, who was a lawyer, actually used to go around telling people in the camp that they really can't do this to us. I always wanted to fight for the poor. I grew up looking around just thinking that these people never get a fair shake, not any place. And so I said, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to level the playing field. I'm going to be fighting for the poor. When I was in law school, I already started to cross-dress. And I would actually go out on the streets. I would mingle with the other queens, drag queens, female impersonators. I started learning about those people who are out there. Of course, when I got out of law school and was able to get a job, I was able to start my therapy. And I would not only see some of these people in the streets and in bars and in clubs, but I'd see them in my therapy classes also. I'd see them in group therapy, and I was able to get to know them. And it was really an interesting period to meet other people, and during that period of time, and hearing them tell their stories, which were so remarkably similar to mine. I went to all these different libraries and tried to look up the issue of transgenderism through transvestism. You're always looking for a cause and a cure. And I can remember some time too after I left the public defender's office and I was in private practice where I went through another period. I kept feeling like there was just no place for me in the world. I've got this incredible distress. There's this thing I can't seem to shake. It haunted me a whole life. I have a curse. I have this identity that keeps asserting itself underneath my surface, that keeps threatening to come to the surface, and suppressing it is driving me crazy. So that's what I presented in therapy. And at some point, I just came to the conclusion that, something, this is actually your truth. This is not, the overlay is what's not real. And so at some point, you're just gonna have the courage to actually say your truth. I turned 60, and I remember saying at that point, I don't care what happens, I'm gonna transition. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what I lose. I remember John, my office partner, when I told him, he couldn't believe it. He said, how can you do this now? You're in the twilight of your life. Why would you throw everything away this late in your life? And I said, because it's the truth. It's just the truth. The first time I ever came to court dressed as a woman, it was one of those things where I remember looking at it the night before, I'm thinking, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna liberate the criminal courts building. And after I do that, I'm going to liberate the jail, I'm going to liberate the prosecutor's office. So every single courthouse I went to with that attitude, every time I feel like I was breaking some new ground, I'd feel like, okay, this is the liberation of your courthouse. This is a great day for all of you. I'm going to be putting on a case, and I'm going to be completely authentic, and you're going to have to deal with it.